Om Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. In our Indian tradition, we used to say our culture started from Indus Valley civilization by the evidence of the monuments found Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Then onwards, our culture and civilization got flourished. The traditions which and all adapted in those periods are inheritedly continuing even at this age, at this stage. It's a wonderful one. Nowhere we can see such culture. From Vedic period onwards, we have our own culture and tradition. Nowhere in the world we can see such a great culture and civilization other than Indian culture. Generally, we used to say we are from Aryan culture. Aryans are mentioned even Rigveda period also. Even Manu was directly god of Brahmanan. From him, this culture is adopted. We are all the children of Aryan race, Aryan religion, Aryan tradition. Till now, we are following Aryan culture. We are all from Aryan speaking tribes. Even Mohenjo-daro, Harappa also use some type of monuments which is stood an example that we were belong to Aryan culture. Aryan culture is a kind of Indian culture and civilization also tradition. What and all we are doing now, traditional way, that and all, the root cause is our Aryan culture. But in India, we used to say there are two divisions. One is Aryan, another is Dravidian. Dravidian culture, especially we can see in South India. Aryan culture divided into North India, South and North, South Pole like North Pole. But whatever it may be, the Dravidian people used to say their, for example, Tamilians, they used to say Agastya sage is their ancestor. He found the language Tamil. He taught to Lord Shiva. That's why Agastya is considered one of the Dravidian religious priest or guru for Tamilians. When we come from north, they used to say our culture is Aryan culture. We have traditions from the ancestrals derived from Babylonians. Even Indus Valley civilization also found that our culture is the worthwhile, great, worldwide, noted one, familiar one. It attained its own glory. Even now, our each and every activities are based on Aryan culture and civilization. How the performing idol worship, sacrifices, performing homas, and circumambulating temples. These cultures are inheritatory from Aryan culture. We people may not know our impact is more from Aryan tradition. We have our impact on Aryan culture was familiar in worldwide. We do not know the detail. We used to say Aryan culture, Aryan culture. Dravidian culture, Dravidian culture. If we come to know thorough study of Aryan impact or the impact of Aryan culture, then we will come to a conclusion that how the culture and the tradition of Aryan made us world famous. In this regard, today I chose the special topic of The impact of Aryan culture, to give the detailed description about it. If we know thoroughly, we can understand our values, not others' values, our culture and civilization values. Let us start with prayer. Mahadevam Mahatmanam Mahadhyanapaраयणं Mahapapaharam Devam Makaraya Namo Namaha. It was once a tradition that the first king of India was Manu Swayam Prabhu. Manu was born directly of the god Brahma. From the female half of he bore 2 sons and 3 daughters, from whom descended a series of Manus. One of them, called Prithu, became the first consecrated king of the earth and gave to the earth her name Prithivi. He cleared the forests, cultivated the land, and introduced cattle breeding, commerce, and other activities associated with a settled life. But the 10th Manu was the most famous of them all. It was when he ruled over the earth that the great flood occurred, when everything was submerged and only Manu survived. The Lord Vishnu warned Manu of the flood, and Manu built a boat to carry his family and 7 sages antiquity. Vishnu took the form of a large fish, to which the boat was fastened, swam through the flood, and lodged the boat on a mountain peak. Here Manu, that is called Vaivasvata Manu, and his family and 7 sages remained until the water had subsided and they could safely return. The human race sprang from Manu and his family, the survivors of the great flood. Manu had 9 sons, the eldest of whom was Hermaphrodite, hence known as dual name Ila, and off from this son arose the 2 main lines of royal descent, a solar dynasty from Ila and the lunar dynasty from Aha. This is a traditional history as recorded in the Puranas and Brahmanas. The flood supposedly occurred many thousand years ago. The Puranas trace a descent of Manu's progeny to the kings of the epic period, the royal heroes of the 2 epics. What are they? Ramayana and Mahabharata. And then continue to chronicle to dynasties of the historical period. These dynasties shows the historical evidence. The sequence of kings is unbroken and follows a pattern which is indicative of much care and thought. Had this literary source been the only one available, the basis of discussion of the beginnings of Indian history would have been limited, but in the late 18th and early 19th century, another type of evidence provided historical material which conflicted with the traditional story. The evidence provided by philology, the study of which in the 19th century developed importantly both in Europe and elsewhere. In India, European scholars of Sanskrit realized with some surprise that Sanskrit was related in structure and possibly in sound to Greek and Latin, and that the relationship was a close one. This led to the theory of a common language. Therefore, we people are saved. Originally spoken by the Indo-European people, the ancestors of Aryan-speaking tribes. Vedic literature came in for intensive study, and it appeared to be proved that the beginning of Indian history was to be coming of the Aryans sometimes in the second millennium BC. But this carefully constructed picture of the past was again to be disturbed in the 20th century. In the year 1921 to 22, archaeology revealed the existence of a pre-Aryan civilization in the northwest of India. The Indus Valley civilization with its two urban centers. What are they? Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. This discovery consigns the early part of the traditional account very firmly to the realms of mythology. The Harappan culture dates from 3000 BC to 1500 BC, so that the physical coexistence of the Harappan culture with the family of Manus is difficult to imagine, since the cultural patterns of the two were totally different. There are thus two separate sources of information on the past: the historical, which consists of the archaeological evidence, and the traditional, consisting of the stories in the Puranas, the latter being composed at a later date than the Vedic. The historical sequence of events seemed to have been as follows. The Indus Valley civilization declined in the second millennium BC and had almost completely disintegrated when the Aryans entered the northwest of India. The Aryans mean Indo-Aryans, descendants of the Indo-Europeans, had remained for some time in Bactria and the northern Iranian plateau, but by about 1500 BC, they migrated into northern India through the passes in the Hindu Kush mountains. At first, they wandered across the plains of the Punjab. For what purpose? Searching for pastures, as they were mainly a cattle breeding people. Finally, they settled in small village communities in forest clearings and gradually took to agriculture, which had been the main economy the earlier Indus Valley people. It was during this period the hymns of the Rig Veda were memorized and collected. The traditional accounts in the Puranas were collected many centuries later, hence the discrepancy in the events described. They are not entirely mythical, since they contain references to historical events. True name Manu provided the generic base for Manava, meaning mankind. The description of King Prithu clearing the forests and introducing cultivation has echoes of the early Aryan settlements in the Ganges Yamuna region. The story of the flood immediately brings to mind the Babylonian legend, also borrowed by the Hebrews in the story of Noah's Ark. In the Indian sources, it may have been a memory from the time when the Aryans were still on the Iranian plateau and in contact with the Babylonians, from whom they may have heard of the flood, or else it was the same legend derived from the Indus Valley people, who in turn had heard of it from the Babylonians. A further possibility may be a vague memory of the Mesopotamian flood, confused with the frequent flooding of the Indus River, and thus the adaptation of the Babylonian story to the Indian scene. At the time when the Puranas were finally revised and edited, royalty in India began tracing its origin to the solar and lunar lines, and there would naturally be an attempt to connect these with the earliest known king. Our earlier literary source is the Rig Veda, parts of which were originally composed prior to the 1000 BC. The remaining Vedic literature, the Sama, Yajur, and Atharva Vedas, is of later data. The historical reconstruction of Aryan life and institution is based on this literature. The two epics, what are they? Ramayana and Mahabharata, are concerned with events which took place between 1000 BC and 700 BC, but as the versions which survived date from the first half of the first millennium AD. They too can hardly be regarded as authentic sources for the study of the period of which they pertain. Incidents from epics can be accepted as historically valid if supporting evidence can be found to bear them out. Originally, the Mahabharata may have been the description of a local feud, but it caught the imagination of the boats, and in its final form, we find all the tribes and peoples of a subcontinent participating in the battle only. Its composition is traditionally ascribed to a Brahman poet Vyasa. But it is not the work of single person, since it is no longer the story of the war but has acquired a number of episodes and a variety of interpretations or interpolations, many of which are important in themselves. The Ramayana is shorter than the Mahabharata and with fewer interpolations. The original version is attributed to the poet Valmiki. The events described in the Ramayana probably occurred somewhat later, since the scene is set further east than that of the Mahabharata in eastern Uttar Pradesh. As a southward movement of the Aryans is generally dated to about 800 BC, the original Ramayana must have been composed at least 50 or 100 years later. An earlier date for the original Ramayana is possible if it is conceded that the conflict between Rama and Ravana is a description of local conflicts between the agriculturists of the Ganges Valley and the more primitive hunting and food gathering societies of the Vindhyan region. The transference of the events to a more southerly location and the reference to Ceylon may have been the work of an editor of a later period. The extent of the geographical knowledge of the Aryans at the time of Rig Veda can be ascertained by the reference in the hymns of various rivers. It would appear that in Rig Vedic period they had spread to the Punjab and Delhi regions, but the tribes had not yet begun to move eastwards. The later Vedic sources, which could well have been contemporary with events described in the two epics, show a wider knowledge of Indian geography. They mention the two seas, the Himalaya and Vindhya mountain, and generally the entire India Gangetic plain. Climatically, the region was far better or far wetter than it's today, and forests covered what are you have vast plains and deserts. In the first few hundred years, Aryan expansion was very slow. Stone, bronze, and copper axes were used for clearing the forests, iron not being introduced until about 800 BC. Excavations at Hastinapura show familiarity with the use of iron objects by the about 700 BC. And improved implementations accelerated the process of expansion. This relieved the pressure of work on the land and provided leisure for religions and philosophical speculations, as is evident from the Brahmanas and the Upanishads, composed from about 700 BC in the world. Many of the Rigvedic tribes are mentioned in the hymns, especially where there are references to intertribal conflicts, such as the Battle of the Ten Kings. Sudas, I think we are all heard, was the king of Bharat tribe settled in western Punjab, who had conducted successful campaigns for the king. But Sudas wished to discuss or dismiss Vishwamitra and appoint another chief priest in his place, Vasistha, since the latter was supposed to have a greater priest or greater priestly knowledge. This infuriated Vishwamitra, who formed and attacked Sudas, but Sudas were victorious. Cattle stealing and land disputes were probably a frequent cause of intertribal wars. The Aryans came as semi-nomadic pastoralists, living chiefly on the production or produce of cattle. And for some time, cattle rearing up remained their men's occupation. The cow was the measure of value and was very precious commodity. Many early linguistic expressions were associated with the cattle. Thus, Gavishti, literally to search for cows, came to mean to fight, the obvious implication being that cattle raids and lost cattle frequently led to the tribal fights. Perhaps the cow was regarded as a totem animal by these tribes and an object of veneration. Its meat was taboo except on specific occasions. When beef eating was regarded as particularly auspicious, the economic value of the cow enhanced the used veneration given to it well. This may have been the origin of the later irrational attitude of regarding the cow is sacred of the mother animals reared by the Aryans. The horse hold pride of place. The horse was essential to movement to speed in war, and it drew the chariots both of men and gods. Of the wild animals, the lion was known earlier than the tiger. The elephant was looked upon a curiosity and was described the beast with the hand Mrigahastin, a reference to the trunk. With the snake was associated with the evil, a common enough association among the primitive peoples. It was also invested with the power, perhaps as a result of the conflict with the powerful Naga tribes who worshipped the snakes. The more permanent settling down of the tribes led to a change of occupation. From tending herds of cattle, they took to agriculture, particularly when with the use of iron, the clearing of land became a less and as a task, the process, and no doubt, however, would being in material basic to Aryan life, cutting rather than the burning forests was probably a more useful means of clearing the land. To begin with, land was owned in common by the village, and thus private property came into being. Land disputes and inheritance. The change to agriculture led to a wider range of occupations. The year or the carpenter range of remained a highly honored member of the community, for not only was the maker of the chariot, but he was now also the maker of the plow. And the increasing availability of wood from the forests made carpentry a lucrative profession, which must have given it additional status. Others essential members of the village common unity were or community were the mental workers using copper, bronze, and iron, the potter, the inheritance. A tendency towards primogeniture can be noticed, but it did not survive. It was also at this stage that caste consideration entered into the legal, practically, the higher caste being more highlighting punished. As in the case of caste religious worship, and to begin with also followed by Aryan and non-Aryan rather than the forms. Facets of both have survived in present day. Hinduism in some cases separate but coexisting in other countries. Even they are mingled. Indians, wherever we go, we mingle so easily. The symbols of fertility, the mother goddess, the bull, the honored deity, and sacred trees, and these have continued in Hindu worship. The more abstract Brahman systems of belief founded on the Vedas appeal to the unlimited few, and whereas their impact can be seen in the philosophical aspects of Indian culture, the majority religion and worship. The hymns of the Rig Veda, respectful, the archetypical religion of the Aryans. The religion of the Rig Veda, altogether it contributed a 13 facts of later day Hinduism is nevertheless distinct formation. The central feature of Aryan religious life was, however, sacrifice. Small obtains were restricted to the domestic sacrifice. But from time to time we can find it. And also perhaps the entire troop participated. The goodwill of the gods was necessary to the ground. Newly warning the tribes, and the Aryans felt that the sacrifice persuaded the goals and boons. The gods were obligated, or the gods believed to participate use unseen by the humans. The social culture was adopted mainly. The sacrifice was certainly a solemn institution, but it is also served the purpose of revealing energies and inhibitions through the general conviviality which followed at the end of the day or sacrifice, and particularly after the liberated drinking of Soma. The ritual of Aryan sacrifice evolved from early primitive. The procedures were involved in constant memories of sacrifice. One of aspect was the important role on the priests. Hence, the description Brahman applied to him who possesses mysterious and magical power. Brahma, another, was the grand acceptance that the god, the priests, and offerings passed through a moment of complete identity. Naturally, sacrificial rites tended to increase the power of the priest, without whom the sacrifices itself could not take place, and the king who possessed the wealth required so far it. In this way, we can see warning triumphs, and the Aryan felt that the sacrifice can be done in a way which can make the people grow well. Life after death envisaged in terms punishment for sin, reward for virtue. Sinners went to the house of clay, the equivalents of Hades, over which the god Varuna held sway. Thus, we can find the impact of Aryan culture in India. Thus, we can understand a bit. Sekantaya Kalyana Nidhe Nidhedram Stiven Vinvasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangala Sasana Pure Buddhacharya Purokame Sarvesha Purve Acharya Sakrutaya Mangalam.